Batman Incorporated number 9, written by Grant Morrison, art by Chris Burnham and Jason Masters. So last issue, Damian died. I don't think that's really a spoiler anymore, but Damian died, and this issue picks up with the Bat family of Tim, Dick, Bruce, and Alfred delivering his coffin into the grave, and we keep intercutting to that back and forth. But first we cut back to Batman basically cradling his son, and then the guy who did it, Heretic, steps up and he's like, "Hey Batman, I did it. I'm the one who killed him, and now I'm gonna kill you because you're weak." And Batman comes up, just smashes the guy's sword and starts beating the crap out of him, seemingly having the upper hand. But eventually the Heretic does get some punches in and starts bringing down Batman, and all the other Leviathan people are looking around like, should we jump in? Is this a mano-a-mano? Do we do something? So then Nightwing gets involved, kicks Heretic in the back, and it's intercut later on in the issue, but basically he manages to get thrown away. Batman continues to fight Heretic for what little he can. They get blasted outside of Wayne Tower, and as he's about to do the Bane thing of breaking Batman's back on his knee, Tim Drake, who's inside the tank in the middle of Wayne Enterprises, just starts firing at them, and then also at the other Leviathan agents, enough to get basically the entire Bat family out, and also that one girl who was in the area for whatever reason. So anyway, back to the funeral. Bruce is told, "Hey, maybe you should say something," and he just gives a thing saying like, "Damian just suddenly appeared in my life, and now he's suddenly gone, and I'm super pissed off about it, and we will get vengeance." And so that's basically the gist of his thing. And then we see the funeral for Knight, who also died, I think, 2 issues ago. And all of Britain is mourning. Apparently Prince Harry and William are also there. And we see Squire, Sarah Beryl. She's sitting on her mom's couch just crying. And her mom's like, "Maybe you shouldn't be watching the news." And she's like, No. I get it now. I know what I have to do." And she goes and talks to Dark Ranger, another member of Batman Incorporated, now dressed in the Knight outfit, and just saying like, "I didn't take Leviathan seriously enough. I want to team up with you, and I want to go deal with them." And Dark Ranger's like, "Awesome, let's do it." And she's like, "By the way, call me Knight now." So then we just get, I don't know if it's going to come up later, but apparently the government, like the Prime Minister himself, is talking about bringing Knight back to life with a Lazarus pit. So that's a thing. But then we see everyone still at the gravesite. Dick and Tim walk away, and it's just Alfred and Bruce. And Bruce is like, "Hey, Alfred, didn't I tell you not to let Damian get involved in this fight?" And Alfred's like, "I thought he could handle it." And Bruce is like, "Thought he could handle it. Okay, all right. How about you go on vacation? How would you take a nice long vacation? And then we'll talk about it." And he's like, "Sir, but I take a vacation." So at this point, we see that Wayne Tower is still being held down by Leviathan. All these kids are rioting around towns with like baseball bats and smashing in police officers' faces. We see the Mutants gang from Dark Knight Rises start to show up. And Heretic is basically addressing Talia's mom and just like, "Hey mom, aren't you happy I killed Damian?" And she's like, No, I'm not. I didn't give you that order. I didn't tell you to do that. Why'd you do that?" And he's like, "He got in my way, and I wanted to make my own decision." He's like, "You don't make your own decision. I make your decisions. I'm the head of Leviathan. You better remember that now." He's like, "Yeah, well, I'm Batman now, so what of it?" So at that point, we see Leviathan puts out their message saying Batman Incorporated is evil, capitalist, extra military crap and needs to be dismantled. As such, they are going to attack anyone who has any sort of bat anything on them. And we see Commissioner Gordon is on the side of this press conference with a little Batman pin in his lapel, and he just folds it over as to hide it. So then all Batman Incorporated starts talking, and they're like, "Okay, here's the deal. We're all undercover now. We're all under the radar. We found this detonator thing, this cube. We have a handle on it. Apparently it activates a thing called a Ring of Death. And we think that in all the cities where there's Batman Incorporated people, there's these massive bombs that will like destroy the world sort of thing. And so we have to figure out how to deal with that. And also, Wingman Jason Todd just disappeared. Can we figure out where he is?" And then we cut over to Jason, who is surrounded by women dressed in skull masks and like spandex, and they're saying, all right, what happens next to you, Jason, is entirely your decision. You got to figure out if you're with us or against us. I don't know. It's something. But either way, last few pages is we see Bruce in the Batcave. He takes some pain pills. He puts on ointment, stitches himself up. He presses a button on the computer to say that Damien is officially dead. He puts on his bat outfit, walks over to Bat Cow, says, "Hey, Bat Cow," and Bat Cow goes moo. And then he just screams in his cave because he's so angry. I mean, I liked it. I think it was a fine enough issue. It does feel like it's kind of just moving pieces around for the final act, quote unquote, because obviously there's not that many issues left in it. In terms of being a Requiem issue for Damien, I think it did a good job. I think this was the one book where it had to do a good job because obviously it's the one who did it in the first place. But I also think that because they were so busy with moving the pieces around, a lot of it just felt like it had nothing to do with it. Especially like the first page when I said he's cradling a son, like it's for a very small panel up in the left, and then he just gets in the fight with Heretic, which I get that, you know, you got to move quick with it, but it felt like maybe he should have spent a little longer. Like Nightwing spent longer. The entire time Nightwing was on panel, he's like, "Oh God, how did this happen? He was fine. He was fine just a minute ago." Like, I don't know. I feel like Batman should have had a little bit more for that, but obviously shock's a thing, so whatever. Overall, art's okay. I've never been a huge fan of the art. I've gone on record with that before, but I think that the writing is still pretty solid. I'm liking where it goes. Obviously, I think the most out of place thing is whatever the hell's going on with Jason Todd. I'm going to assume that that's either something that happened before the New 52 or something we have yet to get to. Judging by how mysterious they're keeping it, I'm assuming we'll get to it, but I have no idea what it is yet. So overall, I'm going to give this one I'll give it a 7 flat. I think that it's fine. It's a good enough issue, but it's not a standout in terms of what we've already seen in this book, especially compared to things like last issue. So yeah, just a flat 7.